Hello everyone, and Carlos Silva from the Lubbock Avalanche-Journal here to bring you another edition of the Red Raiders pregame chat brought to you by University Medical Center. I'm here at Schallemeyer Arena. And of course, for those that haven't been here, I'll give you a quick little look of the old facilities as we flip the camera over. You can see a lot of purple there. Nice little circular kind of area. Big scoreboard right there as we flip it right back to myself as we get some people starting to check out the old live chat. Once again, I'm Carlos Silva from the Lubbock Avalanche-Journal, bringing you another edition of the Red Raiders pregame chat, brought to you by University Medical Center. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them right in the deal right there, right under me, and we'll get to those. And we'll also get to some of the comments that Chris Beard had to say prior to this game, and a little bit more. Apologize if the music is a little bit loud. Tried to get it a little bit before, but I guess they do it around 2 hours before, so we'll just have to deal with the music. So for those that are here, we'll hear from Chris Beard as to what he said leading up to the number 10 Texas Tech Red Raiders facing off against TCU in front of a road atmosphere.
Yeah, I think above all, we're just in the business of recruiting talented players. CJ fits that mold. You know, he's a 4-star recruit. Could have gone to a lot of schools. Went to Missouri, signed with Coach Anderson, Steve Shills, and those guys, and they had a coaching.
Pardon me, that was the incorrect video. Let me get to the correct video. Apologize. Once again, this is Chris Beard talking TCU as they play in a road game.
I'm proud to sit through these two guys, you know, in team basketball. A lot of times guys like Keenan and Zach get all the attention, but they got a lot of three-point shooters on the roster. You know, basically they don't play anybody that doesn't shoot the three. And so, you know, Robinson can beat you with the passing and scoring himself. So they just do a great job spreading the floor. So you got to kind of pick your poison. If you're going to protect the paint, you're probably going to give some threes up. But if you're going to try to take away the three-point shot, then you're going to give them some drives to the basket. So I think one thing safe to say is you got to be willing to kind of change defenses. I don't think you can just play TCU one way. Their coach is too good and their players are too talented.
Once again, it took a while, but that was Chris Beard talking about the TCU Horned Frogs in terms of Alex Robinson, Kendrick Williams, Vlad Brodzianski, and then of course some of the other big-time players that they tout as well, just to kind of get a closer look at some of those guys. The projected starters are, as I mentioned, Alex Robinson at the guard position. He replaced Jalen Fisher, who was knocked out of the season following surgery to repair a torn meniscus in his right knee. So unfortunately for him, he won't be able to play the rest of the season, at least according to reports. Of course, that's not different from what TCU had to do last year. They lost Jalen Fisher, and then Alex Robinson was a point guard, and that brought them to the NIT championship, and of course they won that title last year. You get Desmond Bain. He was the other guard that I had forgotten to mention before, 6'5" sophomore, averaging 11.7 points per game, 4.0 rebounds per game. And then, of course, Kendrick Williams, 6'7", senior guard as well, 14.4 points, 9.6 rebounds per game. A very versatile player and one of the best rebounders in the conference, in the top 5 in the Big 12. So certainly someone that you're going to look for Texas Tech to limit, at least on the offensive boards. Taking away any second chance opportunities for the Horned Frogs, is they're a very good offensive team, ranked number 1 in field goal percentage and three-point percentage. So two things that you're going to want to see is one of the best defensive teams in Texas Tech in the three-point line and field goal percentage, going up against TCU, a very, very good team in terms of all that. And for those just kind of joining us, we'll reset real quick with Chris Beard talking about what he feels are going to be some challenges going up against TCU on the road.
They got a lot of three-point shooters on the roster. You know, basically they don't play anybody that doesn't shoot the three. And so, you know, Robinson can beat you with the passing and scoring himself. So they just do a great job spreading the floor. So you got to kind of pick your poison. If you're going to protect the paint, you're probably going to give some threes up. But if you're going to try to take away the three-point shot, then you're going to give them some drives to the basket. So I think one thing safe to say is you got to be willing to kind of change defenses. I don't think you can just play TCU one way. Their coach is too good and their players are too talented. They got a lot of three-point shooters on the roster.
Once again, that was Chris Beard talking a little bit about Alex Robinson, some of the three-point shooting the Texas Tech men's basketball team is looking to limit today, especially from the three-point line. That's going to spread you out a little bit if you're not able to slow that down. But one of the other things that Texas Tech is looking to do is maybe take them out of transition. A very good passing team as well. As Alex Robinson, surprisingly one of the better passers, and TCU actually It's one of the top teams in assists in the conference, and not only that, but they pass the ball well, but then they also take care of the ball well. One of the top teams in assist-to-turnover ratio as well in the conference. So certainly a lot of things that you're going to see, whether that be Texas Tech either kind of slowing down TCU and what they're trying to do, or if Texas Tech is able to get some points off turnovers. That'll be key for the Red Raiders in this game. Ranked number 10 in the latest Associated Press men's college basketball poll. So just to kind of go through the lineup once again for TCU, mentioned Alex Robinson, Desmond Bain, Kendrick Williams. J.D. Miller is going to be the one forward, 6'8", junior, 9.8 points per game, 4.7 rebounds per game. But the guy that everyone's going to be talking about is Vlad Brozniansky. Of course, he's almost a double-double machine. Everyone kind of remembers him last year going up against Zach Smith. Tommy Hamilton wasn't there last year, but he'll go against him this year. Anthony Livingston was a guy last year that had a little bit of trouble, along with Thomas Brandsman, and of course Matthew Temple, who played against him as well. So we'll see how things are able to happen this time around with Texas Tech with Tommy Hamilton, Lawrence Odiase, and maybe we'll see Malik Ondigo. One of the reasons Chris Beard mentioned that Ondigo didn't get any minutes in the last game wasn't due to injury or schematics. It was just a matter of Tommy Hamilton and Lawrence playing well. I mean, you have to think that they're playing well when you get double figures in points and rebounds when you combine, compared to one game where they didn't really kind of bring you anything. But then, of course, when Keenan Evans is scoring a career-high 38 points, especially 18 points from the free throw line, you certainly have to like the way things are going offensively for Texas Tech. And as Chris Beard had mentioned, when he brought Andrew Sorrells and Parker Hicks to the press conference a couple days ago, he was mentioning how it's a team game for everyone here for the Texas Tech.
Yeah, I'm proud to be sitting up here with these two guys, you know, in team basketball. A lot of times guys like Keenan and Zach get all the attention, but any of us that understand team sports understand that everybody has a role in the team. So two young guys up here, Andrew a sophomore and Parker a freshman, have done a great job this year. This is the best scout team we've had in our 2 years here. I have a lot of confidence that these guys are going to eventually get on the floor and play one day. But right now they're executing their roles really well. So these two guys are doing a great job this year, and even though they don't get a lot of credit publicly, I think if you asked our players or anybody on our staff, we would tell you that these two guys are a big part of our success so far this season.
Once again, that was Chris Beard talking about the team mentality that the Texas Tech men's basketball team has been taking going into this. And then just another guy that everyone's been talking about. I know everyone's been asking me about a player that they might have seen behind the bench. I know person C.J. Roberts is a Missouri transfer, and Chris Beard was asked about that by a media member, that being Will McKay, over the last 2 days.
Yeah, I think above all, we're just in the business of recruiting talented players. And CJ fits that mold. You know, he's a 4-star recruit. Could have gone to a lot of schools. Went to Missouri, signed with Coach Anderson, Steve Shills, and those guys, and they had a coaching change. And sometimes in coaching changes, as we know, being on both sides of them, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So CJ was looking for a new opportunity, and we recruited him a little bit in high school. We knew his high school coach. We knew his AAU coaches, and so just seemed to be a good fit for us to add another talented perimeter player with Keenan and Naeem and these guys graduating. And I think it was a good fit for CJ to come back to Texas, where he's from, and have a chance to play in the best conference in basketball.
Once again, that was Chris Beard talking a little bit about C.J. Roberts, a player that'll be eligible before the Big 12 conference season starts next season. So certainly another guy that could be a very good potential scorer and good assist maker for Texas Tech. He's a little bit shorter than Keenan, but certainly a good scorer and a guy that can pass the ball very well, at least from what I've been hearing from practices and other things of that sort. But just to get to send me comments, who can be our second big scorer to help Keenan out today? I know I got asked that last game when Keenan did make that game-winning shot to defeat Texas 73-71 in overtime on Wednesday. Zaire Smith, Jared Culver have to step up. I know everyone kind of talks about, well, who's better, Jared or Zaire? Well, if you really want to see what happens, Zaire Smith is your better athlete, even though Jared Culver still has some athletic ability. But Culver, from an offensive standpoint, can score from all three levels. Off the dribble, three-point line, inside. He's your guy that can do that. Zaire Smith, just haven't seen much from him in terms of if you need to make a play off a corner, off the dribble type deal. Jared Culver seems to be that guy. He obviously had a big dunk against Texas, so he's shown that ability to do that. But if you can get those two going, that's certainly something you want to do. But I think if you're Chris Beard, you definitely want balance scoring from everyone. If you can get Naeem going a little bit, he gets in that 7 to 8 point range. Same with Justin Gray, haven't seen much from him. If you can get 5 or 6 points, even 7 points from him, that's going to be huge. Noah Chodiase, Tommy Hamilton, he can get 7 to 8 points from either of them. Like I said, just kind of not necessarily getting extra points or maybe those big double figures from that second guy like Jared Culver had helped Keenan Evans a couple games ago. But if you can get 7 to 8 points from about 5 or 6 players, that's just going to help you balance out the scoring, take off some of the deal, or take off some of the pressure from some of the other players as well. And not only that, but then if you can see a guy like Davide Moretti step up, make some big shots, like a Brandon Francis has. Seems like every time he touches the ball, makes a three-pointer. It's a big play and big clutch moments. Hopefully that answers your question, John Sterrett. How's Coach Beard's knee, says Adam Marquez? Well, he's wearing a knee brace. Unfortunately, I believe he has a torn ACL. I want to say it happened right before the Iowa State game. He was showing a play or a drill or something, and it just popped. And then, of course, as everyone kind of knows from the video, it really gave way in that Iowa State game as he was trying to prove a point on the court. And unfortunately, looks like he'll have to wait till the end of the season to kind of get that rectified or see what he can do in terms of a surgical procedure to get that fixed. So, of course, everyone's prayers are with Chris Beard, but for him, he'd rather try and give away his right foot to Zach Smith, who, of course, is still out with a right foot injury, injured bone in his right foot. Getting to Scott Carroll, guns up from Marietta, Georgia, since his teams have played. Yeah, how do they match up on paper? Well, on paper, you have to think TCU is a very good offensive team, and Texas Tech is a very good defensive team. That's going to really be the game within a game, is how is Texas Tech going to slow down TCU, who's averaging close to 80 points a game. They're going to want to get the ball up and down the court. Texas Tech can kind of do that, but they only do that when they want their defense to create their offense in transition. Not only that, but then when you score points off turnovers, that's how Texas Tech is going to have to score today. Create turnovers, get some quick layups or even some quick fast break dunks, take the crowd out of it. Of course, everyone kind of knows TCU got a huge upset home victory against West Virginia, so this team is not afraid of these rankings, which they shouldn't be because they're a very good team under Jamie Dixon in his second season following an NIT championship last year. So that should answer your question there, Scott Terrell. Appreciate the question. Like I said, for those that have any other questions, we'll get to those as well. But for those that are just joining us, I'm Carlos Silva, the Lubbock Avalanche-Journal, Texas Tech men's basketball beat writer, bringing you another edition of the Red Raiders pregame chat, brought to you by University Medical Center. And we're here for about another 3 minutes as I take your questions and comments. For those that haven't seen Shalimar Arena, we'll flip the camera over so you don't have to look at me so much. And we'll kind of show it to you. There's the TCU deal. There's the little, I guess, horned frog scales, if you will. And then, of course, you have the rest of the circular type arena there, along with the big old scoreboard. Everyone needs the big old scoreboard, and we'll unfortunately have to flip it back to my mug. But just wanted to give you all a quick little view of Shalimar Arena if you haven't been here before. It's a really nice arena, retrofitted, nice intimate arena. You're kind of a little bit on top of the action, which is kind of cool. So certainly it'll be interesting to see how the Texas Tech men's basketball team kind of deals with the noise factor, although they've obviously been used to it. They were able to get a big road victory at Allen Fieldhouse, where I don't know, other than Hilton Coliseum, that's been any louder on the road. Oklahoma was loud at times, but not as consistent as Hilton Coliseum and Allen Fieldhouse. Of course, the fog, as everyone kind of knows it, where Texas Tech got that big victory over Kansas at that time. Let's see if we got any other comments. Looks like we don't have any other comments. So on that note, we'll kind of set things up with what Coach Chris Beard had to say with TCU, and we'll kind of wrap things up from there.
They got a lot of three-point shooters on the roster. You know, basically they don't play anybody that doesn't shoot the three. And so, you know, Robinson can beat you with the passing and scoring himself. So they just do a great job spreading the floor. So you got to kind of pick your poison. If you're going to protect the paint, you're probably going to give some threes up. But if you're going to try to take away the three-point shot, then you're going to give them some drives to the basket. So I think one thing safe to say is you gotta be willing to kind of change defenses. I don't think you can just play TCU one way. Their coach is too good, their players are too talented.
Once again, that was Chris Beard talking about TCU. Number 10, Texas Tech, in the latest Associated Press Men's College Basketball Poll, takes on TCU at 1 p.m. tip, ESPNU. For those that don't know what channel that is, I'm sure there will be something on Twitter that I'll retweet as to where that could be in the Lubbock area or any other place where you're kind of watching. We appreciate you checking out the Facebook Live pregame chat, as I mentioned, like to answer questions or comments from fans of Texas Tech right before the game, just to kind of get you geared up, fired up for the Texas Tech men's basketball team taking on the Horned Frogs, and to just kind of give you a little bit of a pregame kind of roundup for Texas Tech. If they have anything different from this, they've had this starting lineup the past couple times, and obviously they're on a 3-game winning streak, so don't want to kind of fix what's not broken. And Keenan Evans at guard, obviously he's had a 26-point, 31-point, and 38-point outing in the last 3 games. He's been that offense. I know everyone's talking about there needs to be a second option. Yeah, it's been fun to watch him. Certainly need that second option, but I think the biggest thing for Texas Tech is to get balance. You need 4 or 5 guys in double figures, or even 6 to 7 guys close to that 10-point mark, say 7 to 8 range, and that's really going to take away some of the scoring that Keenan did, even though he was a cold-blooded killer, especially with that step-back jumper right inside the 3-point line at the top of the key. It was just an incredible shot. Obviously a very good moment for him and all the other players who worked on all their shots and just waiting for that moment, living for that moment, as he said, post-game of the 73-71 overtime victory over Texas on Wednesday. Speaking of other guys that are starting, Zaire Smith, freshman guard, 6'5", 195. Justin Gray, senior guard, 6'6", 220. And, of course, Jared Culver, the freshman out of Lubbock Coronado High School, 6'5", 190. And then Lawrence Odiase has been, at least when you look at Kansas and you look at the game against Texas, him and Tommy Hamilton teamed up and were able to take away Mo Bamba in terms of his offensive game. Only held him to 1 shot in the first half, and then from there, Mo Bamba found his way, but it was just enough to keep Texas at bay in terms of very talented players everyone kind of saw at United Supermarkets Arena. Possibly a top 5 draft pick in the NBA draft, so very good play from Texas Tech. Just to see if there's any other comments before we wrap things up. Looks like there are not. So once again, I'm Carlos Silva from the Lubbock Avalanche-Journal. I cover the Texas Tech men's basketball team for the newspaper in Lubbock, Texas. Bringing you another edition of the Red Raiders pregame chat, brought to you by University Medical Center. We do these about 2 to 2.5 hours before the game, and then probably after this one, since it's a little bit earlier of a game, I'll be able to do this maybe right after post-game press conferences, and we'll get this done hopefully about 10 or 20 minutes after the game is over, win or lose. So appreciate you all watching, and we'll talk to you after the game.